57 knights, 23 marksmen. I think that was a misclick. Ha, fantastic. That was a misclick. How fantastic. Okay, well, never mind. I think I'm going to be okay, because I'm a little bit better at fighting than I used to be. Hello Reformers, and welcome back to Mount and Blade Warband and our native series. Now, when we left off, we actually succeeded in taking the last remaining Saranid fief away from them. And as you can see, they're actually offering us a couple of pieces of silver, you know, for a mere grain wad. And personally, I'm not wanting to take this guy or let him go or anything like that, so we're just going to reject the offer. I don't really mind about losing honor at this point, and I don't even need the money. I don't need the money. We know that we're absolutely rolling in it thanks to this. Yes, just take a look at exactly the reason why. It's Nara, basically. I mean, it's not even the Enterprises, really. It's literally just that Nara is giving us 15,000 by itself. Just by itself. And that's completely without any of the other things. So that's amazing in my opinion. I would be able to probably sustain myself pretty easily with all of these enterprises, but obviously the tariffs and the rents and all that sort of thing from Nara are making a huge difference. Now, what I'm doing right now is I'm literally just waiting. The Kingdom of Reformia, as you can see right here, is taking back Grunwalder Castle. They're doing that thing where they just go back and forth all the time. And that's actually not even that bad, because that means that I'm able to just go around and do whatever it is I want to do and take things without having too many vassals on my tail attempting to, you know, track us down and murder us and all that sort of thing. So it's pretty good. Now, otherwise, I am actually waiting for the Saranids to be eliminated here, because I don't want some random Saranid vassal to turn up and be like, hello there, let me just take back Tyr extremely easily, and then we have a whole big mess on our hands, because if Sultan Hakim is still somewhere around here, then he may be able to recuperate himself and help out at that location. So obviously we don't want that to happen. So that's exactly the reason why I'm just waiting here for some time. Might wait until the next day, and then we're actually going to move on, and we're going to go to our next target. And you know what our next target is going to be? It's going to be the Vaegirs. Oh yes, it's going to be the Vaegirs, because they are being kind of annoying with Sungetcha Castle. They have attempted to take that multiple times, and we've just taken it back, or shall we say, our vassals have taken it back, and I think it would be a good idea to try and encroach a little bit on their territory. Because I don't know whether you've seen, but it looks like the Vaegirs have absolutely been untouched. You can see that. Ravadin, Kuror, Kudan, Rivercheg, all of these have not been touched. And as far as I'm aware, I don't think they've lost any castles either, maybe with the exception of Sungetcha Castle. I'm actually unsure whether that was a Kurjit fief beforehand. It's been a long time. Oh yes, I believe a comment asked to take a look around at the world map. So I'm just going to take a quick look. You can see exactly what's going on here. We generally have most territory right now, and it's actually going a little bit better than, well, is it going better than my original native series? Because I mean, in the grand scheme of things, I did go to, I think, 202 episodes in that series. So that was pretty long, wasn't it? Yes, very, very long indeed. And so I think, shall we try and make a prediction here? I'm not entirely sure, because usually my predictions are very, very far off and inaccurate. So, okay, I'm just going to do it for fun, and let's see if I'm going to be able to do it. And that means, do you think I'm going to be able to conquer the entirety of the map in another 20 episodes? So let's say 110 total episodes in the series. I actually don't know whether that's going to be possible. I mean, whenever I was playing beforehand, I had to play a huge amount off screen because I didn't really know what I was doing at that point. Still don't in some aspects, but, you know, it was kind of a learning experience for me in that original series. And this is obviously a little bit different because I do have somewhat more experience. Ismarala Castle is just absolute suicide, isn't it? Just look at how many Vagian marksmen they have. 58. That's crazy. That's real crazy right there. Okay, so let's go to Albert Castle instead. Let's see. Oh, that's a little bit more manageable. And they have only 78? Okay, that's very weird. I actually thought that they would have a lot more there, but I think they've been fighting over it with someone else for quite some time. Ah, Emir Voldrat is actually in the garrison here. Interesting. Okay, so he is probably causing the Saranids to have a little bit of stubbornness. Oh, my party has nothing to eat. Apparently I'm going to need to go to Werchek then. I didn't really want to do that at the moment. I actually wanted to go straight in to Alberk Castle and actually take it. I think it is actually a siege tower. If it is, then that's not very good. I thought the chicken would actually sustain us for a while, but it goes rotten very, very quickly, which is primarily the reason why I actually don't buy meat. It's just not very practical. It's very, very unusable after a couple of days, and that's not particularly good in my opinion, but it can generally boost your morale very, very nicely. So if you're having difficulties with morale, then yeah, maybe a good idea to buy a couple of pieces of that and just see what you can do. Ooh, look at that. It's actually a ladder castle. Very nice. I actually thought that we were going to have some difficulties here. But who knows? Maybe we're still going to have difficulties. Because even though they have a very small garrison here, in comparison to what we could be taking, it is a lot more manageable because of that, because of their smaller numbers, and obviously because they don't have as many marksmen. I am going to dread taking, what is it, Ismarala Castle. Yeah, I think Ismarala Castle is going to be insanely difficult with 58 Vagia marksmen there. I mean, really, that's crazy numbers for a huge amount of high-tier archers. And you can see here that they... Wow, they actually all targeted me. Wow. Yeah, there you go. And that's exactly what I'm talking about here. That is exactly the point. I'm really surprised. I actually thought to myself, yeah, we're probably going to have a decent enough time here. But apparently not. Apparently they really were ready for us in more ways than one. And that's exactly the reason why I am so incredibly dubious about attempting to go and take Ismarala Castle. I think it is going to be an absolute slaughter. But do bear in mind that if we are actually able to get to the walls and actually get up there, the Vagias really don't have too much in the way of defense. And I think we should be okay. But because, I mean, you can just think about it. The Vagia marksmen are not that good in melee in comparison to maybe the Nord archers. So we should have a pretty easy time of things. But the problem is just getting there. You know, just getting up the ladder. Come on, guys. Yes, I have a bad feeling about this. I have a very bad feeling. They're taking out Nord Huskals. You can see here... I don't know. I don't know whether we're going to be able to do this. This is extreme right now. My shield has gone. My shield is gone. And if I get eliminated again, yep, that's it. That is it. There's nothing I can do about it. There really is nothing I can do about it. I mean, the only thing, I guess, that we could do... I mean, I eliminated 8 of them, which is just absolutely pitiful. It really is absolutely awful. But I guess the only thing I could do is do a complete tech swap. And by that, I mean swap out basically all of my infantry, all of my cavalry, and go for a solely archer-focused army. And I'm not talking about taking Rodox or Swadian sharpshooters here. I'm talking about taking those Saranid Master Archers. Because if I'm able to take those Saranid Master Archers and actually use them... Oh, there's the Saranids. They've finally been eliminated. Oh, that was a long time coming, wasn't it? But, anyway, if I'm able to take those Saranid Master Archers and use them to good effect, we should be able to at least, shall we say, match the Vagia marksmen and their sheer power from range. But I don't know whether we're going to be able to do that, because they do have the height advantage. They have the height advantage, they have the everything advantage in their favor right now. So it is very, very difficult to do something like that. But maybe I can do a little bit of a something here. Maybe I can do a nice headshot, or at the very least just eliminate some of their marksmen from far away, because it seems like me attempting to do anything else is going to result in my demise. So I'd appreciate it if maybe Barney could get a couple of headshots here. Yeah, his damage is really, really bad with a bow, unfortunately. It seems like I really didn't level up his archery enough, early enough, should we say? Because right now I'm having difficulties actually getting skill points and specking into power draw, so I guess that's the main problem there. Maybe I can eliminate this guy as well. Borcha actually got a kill. Amazing. Good work, Borcha. I'm very surprised at him actually getting a kill there. But yeah, he actually did get eliminated. Okay, so how are we doing now? Oh, why? Okay, wait a minute. Why are... Ah, okay, my bad. The battle size is actually a lot less than it really is, so I'm going to change that real quick. Alright, so that is much, much better. Reinforcements are on the way. Yeah, by the way, if you're playing a different mod, like, for example, Pendor or Brittenwalder or even Viking Conquest, if you're playing something like that, make sure to change your battle size. Because if you're playing native alongside it, or something that has the default battle size, you are going to have some difficulties having the same battle size as that. Because obviously I'm playing Pendor at the same time, I'm, you know, maybe thinking about various special features and things like that, and, you know, having the battle size change in Pendor to reduce it for, you know, PC specifications or whatever, just to make sure that there's limited lag and making sure that I maintain 30 FPS or whatever, then yeah, making sure that that is the case is really, really, you know, important. But obviously, me getting eliminated again. Oh well, never mind. But yes, anyway, as I'm saying, in Pendor, the maximum battle size is, I think, 550 or something like that. And that basically tends to make my PC lag a little bit, and a little bit of stuttering and stuff like that. So generally what I'll do is I'll just reduce it to about 350. So just cut down on 200 units, and that usually results in very, very big battles anyway, so it's not really a big deal. But when you do that with the slider in Pendor, every single other mod that you're playing will also have those battle size settings. And so I basically had about 100 units in native at the moment available for the battle. So that's not very good, because we want to have all of our guys going in there. Because I don't know whether you noticed, but as soon as we had a whole bunch of units going in there, we actually started to get many more kills. Because obviously we outnumber the enemy. And I mean, how many archers do I have? I have 15 archers right here, and look at how many units are going in. I mean, we only have 28 enemies to fight, which is not really a big deal, but it could have really helped us out at the very beginning if we outnumbered them so severely, or at the very least, you know, had a couple more units on the battlefield. So that would have really, really made a difference. So yeah, my bad about that. Anyway, let's try and get a couple of headshots. Let's do this, Barney. Maybe? No, maybe not. No, maybe not. Okay, yeah, he's just going for the shoulders. Don't know why he's going for the shoulders, but that's just how it is. Bit weird. Seems like this... he dodged at the last second. Isn't that great? Seems like this bow is a little bit weird, so I might try to get a bit of a different bow. Is this the strong war bow? I don't think it is the strong war bow. I think it's a Kurgit bow, or something along those lines, because if I can get the strong war bow, I think we'll be in a much better position. And speaking of better positions, oh yeah, I think we're going to win this now. I mean, you can see here that we're not really losing too many units, as we lose a whole bunch of units. Great. That usually happens, doesn't it? That's just my luck. That's just my luck. Oh, nice headshot, but literally, the amount of damage that I'm able to do, 36 with a headshot? That's really bad. I'm going to need to really get much more power draw next time I level up or something. I mean, I don't know whether I have the strength requirements for it. Let's actually just take a quick look here. Yeah, I don't have the strength. If I had more strength, then we would be in a much better position. My proficiency on my archery is pretty good. It's at about 220 at the moment. But if I had that 7 power draw, 8 power draw, something along those lines, we'd be in a much better position in terms of our damage, and obviously being able to use much better bows as well. I think I'm using a bow that is 3 power draw right now, and I think the strong war bow requires 5. So technically I could go for the war bow, and I think we would have a much better time with it. But I don't think I've found it yet. I think I may have found it once, and I wasn't actually able to even equip it at that point. But anyway, we are able to take all of these guys and rescue them. And we did lose a whole bunch of units, but I guess it is kind of worth it. Just to take take another fief from our enemies. But you can see exactly that kind of siege is going to be very difficult. And I'm talking about very, very difficult here, because if you think about it, that only, I mean, in total, they only had about 78. And then you got to think about how many marksmen they had. They had 20-something, 23 or 28 or something like that. And Ismarala Castle has 50-something. So I think we're going to have some issues there. What about Yerbe Castle? Yerbe Castle has 167. However, their marksman population is not exactly great. But, on the other hand, they have a huge amount of Vagian Knights. So if we want to take this, we are going to have to go toe-to-toe with Vagian Knights, which are not exactly the worst units. They're pretty good, actually. So, I mean, yeah, they could be better, obviously. I mean, they're no match for a Swadian Knight on the fields of battle. But they can hold their own, they can hold their own pretty easily. So as a result of that, I'm actually going to just scout around a little bit and see if we can maybe take Beluga Castle instead and see exactly what's going on here. Alright, so less knights, but more marksmen. It really depends on what we want to fight. I think at the moment, my army is much more tuned to eliminating an army full of knights rather than full of marksmen. Because if the marksmen have enough of them, they're just going to eliminate us before we even get close to ascending the ladders. Whereas if we have the knights against us, we might have an opportunity to do some kind of war of attrition style tactics and basically eliminate a couple, retreat, eliminate a couple, retreat, and rinse and repeat, and go on with that. Maybe that's going to result in slightly more efficiency. But let's just take a look here. Wow. Okay, so their knight population is still decent enough. They have about 20 knights here. However, their marksman population is 73. Wow. Now that's impressive. That is certainly impressive and very frightening at the same time. Can you imagine going in there against 73 Vagia marksmen? I don't know. Am I placing too much value on these Vagia marksmen? I don't think so. I mean, you saw exactly what happened at Albert Castle. We were just completely pinned down until we got into melee range with them. So, let's just say that all of their Vagia marksmen are placed on the battlements, and we're actually able to get into melee range with a couple of our units. We should be able to fend them off and actually reduce their numbers considerably. But then speaking about that, how many are we going to lose? How many are we going to lose in the process? So I guess what I'm going to do is go back to Yerbe Castle, because that seems to be the only thing that we can really do at the moment. And we'll see how we do there. I mean, I've checked every other castle, with the exception of Dramug Castle, which is all the way down there. So that's kind of the reason why I didn't want to go down there, because even though it is close to our territory, it is very close to Ravadin, and I don't know where the Vagia vassals are, but I can assume that they're probably trying to raid our villages and things like that, so I didn't really want to be closer to them, if at all possible. So let's go to Yerbe Castle. 57 knights, 23 marksmen. I think that was a misclick. Ha! Fantastic. That was a misclick. How fantastic. Okay, well, never mind. I think I'm going to be okay, because I'm a little bit better at fighting than I used to be. So, Oh no. No, no, no. Oh dear. I'm a little bit better at fighting than I used to be. That's what I said. Ah, I'm great, aren't I? Yes, I'm absolutely fantastic. Okay, well, let's just ignore that, because that was a complete misclick. Absolutely. I obviously did not want to sneak in there. Ah, really? Oh well, never mind. It's not a big deal, because we're actually not going to lose anything as a result of this, but this is a classic, absolutely classic Reformist move, isn't it? Yeah, as you can see, we're not losing anything from our army or anything like that. It does give me I guess it gives me the opportunity to level up our forces a little bit, so I guess it's not too bad. And I don't lose any gear either. So yeah, I mean technically I should have lost my gear there, but yeah, let's not try to... Oh wow, it's a siege tower. It's a siege tower. My luck couldn't get any worse. First a misclick on the prison thing, you know, on the disguise, you know, trying to get in in a disguise, and then it's a siege tower. Isn't that great? Alright, so here we go. The problem with siege towers. This is literally 101 about siege towers for me. The main reason why I dislike them so much is because they take so long to build. If they didn't take so long to build, I mean, we have about... Don't we have 7 in engineering or 5 in engineering or something like that? And it takes about 48 or 50 something hours to build. And in-game time, that's actually a lot of time to wait. And while that's happening, if I was, for example, a slightly weaker vassal, or if I had, you know, not so good an army in terms of field battles, because obviously I've got a huge amount of Kurgit Lancers and a couple of Swadian Knights and so on and so forth. So basically, if we actually have any problems with a field battle, they're going to be solved very, very quickly. However, anyway, getting back to the main point. Siege towers, they take too long to build, in my opinion, and when you are attempting a war of attrition style, which is something that I usually tend to rely on at this point, because at this point in the game, when you're in the end game, sometimes you're not able to fully finish a siege, and you need to retreat. You know, you just need to retreat because this is native, either you get eliminated, which is what happens to me more often than not, or you just lose more units than you know what to do with, and you have to go and recuperate your forces. So there's 2 of the reasons why you're going to need to retreat, and one of them is forced, which is not good. And then you have to come back and siege up again and build the siege tower once more. That's the main reason why I don't like siege towers. Otherwise, I think siege towers are actually really cool because they give you this extremely wide ladder. And you've seen me. I mean, if you've been on my channel a while and you've seen a couple of my Mount and Blade series, you'll know that I have a problem with, you know, climbing up ladders and staying on the ladder itself. Because personally, I feel like the units and all that sort of thing, they don't give you that much space to sort of work with. And so, most of the time, you know, I'm probably going to fall off. And the ladders are very, very thin in general. And so, that's the reason why siege towers are somewhat good and why they're somewhat bad. So, yeah, they've got good points and they've also got extremely glaring weaknesses. But, yeah. Anyway, hopefully we'll be able to do something here. I've eliminated most of the enemy's archers. And hopefully I'll be able to do this here. There we go. Yes, there's another one dead. Alright, so we do have a couple of reinforcements coming in here. That's nice to see. And I'd like to be able to get in there if at all possible. If I can get in there, I think we're going to have cupcakes. Because I think we will be victorious. I think so. I think as long as I'm able to get in here and not take too much damage from frivolous pursuits, like actually getting hit randomly from some, you know, somewhere, then I think I should be able to sway the battle in our favor, at least a little bit. I'm not thinking that I'm going to kill hundreds here, because that's unrealistic, and it never really happens unless you have an amazing amount of, I don't know, arrow supply, or, you know, you just have an insanely good two-handed weapon. or you're just very good at staying alive, which I am not. And you can see there exactly the reason why the Vagia Knights are actually kind of harsh. Yeah, they have those really big bardiches, which I really like. I love those bardiches. Using them is extremely satisfying. But you can see here, we were only able to eliminate 78. Only 78 of them, and there's still 100 left. And we need to build that siege tower once more. So I guess we'll do that in the next episode. I thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.